Hello, friends. A very good evening to all. Welcome to the second episode of Design Diaries on Thinkly. In the very first launch episode, we had Preeti Vyas Janeti, who was our first visitor and a guest, and she's one of the top designers and branding experts in India. And I hope it was a very engaging interview, and you gained some really good knowledge from that. I'm super excited for our second episode because I've got someone really special for you guys this time. It's not from India, and it's this gentleman is from Spain, and I would like to welcome Dante Fiorini, a very dear friend and also an entrepreneur and a creative person. His company Zentina just completed 20 years, and he's based in Spain, Malaga. And Dante, please come online and welcome to Design Diaries, and thank you for accepting the offer of being present over here.
Thank you, Niket, and thank you for bearing with me. I know we had to postpone this call because of my voice. I've been dealing with bronchitis, but I'm much better now. So thank you for having me today.
Thank you so much. So, Dante, you come with a lovely background wherein you're from an Italian family, the background.
Oh yeah. It's funny because I am Italian, but I was born in Argentina. But I live in Spain and I work for US. So it's a beautiful combination.
So truly a global, I would say a global citizen.
I'm a natural born global networker. Yes, my grandfather was the one responsible for all this because he migrated during the Second World War to Argentina from Italy. So I was born there. I'm born and raised in Argentina, but I moved to California in the year 2000. That's when I started my career as a graphic designer. Lived there for a number of years, started my own agency, then moved back to Argentina to have family because I have twins. And then in 2015, I moved to Spain, and I'm residing here since then.
Amazing, what a journey! And I think there are a few more countries that will be added to your
Oh yeah,
presence.
definitely. The journey is just getting started. Yeah. My wife says, we're now trying to get our daughters some stability for their studies. So they're following probably one more year here in Malaga, and then they have to pick a university, and then they're gonna fly because we know they're gonna fly like we flew in when we were young. And then it will be another chapter in our life with my wife, and we'll see. You never know.
Amazing. So tell me, Dante, something about yourself as a person. I mean, we know that you're an entrepreneur, you are a creative soul, but apart from that, there are many other facets about yourself as a person. So if you can just share, what are your other passion areas?
Yeah, well, my main passion, I will say, it's fishing. As you know, I do have a fishing charter company here in Spain as well, which I started pretty much playing with my friends, and it turned out into a business. But fishing is one of my passions. I also like the mountains. I love snowboarding. I've been snowboarding since I was 17 years old. My daughters snowboard now. They are 17 years old. So those two are my main passions, the mountain and the sea. So I got a good combination there.
Amazing. So, guys, if you are visiting Spain and if you love fishing, you know whom to contact now.
Yes. I have four boats here in Spain from Alicante to Malaga. And
Awesome.
so, mhm.
Amazing, amazing. And a little bit more about Zentina. We would like to know, how was the big journey in terms of starting your own company? The transition from being a graduate to a employee and then starting as an entrepreneur. So, how was the journey, and what kind of challenges did you face?
Yeah. Well, let me tell you, I'm planning to write a book about all this, and probably 1 hour is not going to be enough. But back then, I got a fantastic opportunity to move to LA to work for a print shop. I was a graphic designer. I got my Yahoo account, my email account, I remember, and I started sending out emails to companies. And believe it or not, I mean, when I hear people today saying, "Oh, everything has been invented, there are no opportunities out there," I laugh because I say, I mean, you got more opportunities than ever. Back then, it was really difficult to reach a decision maker. But I did that. I basically shoot an email to a printer that decided to hire me and took me to LA. That was my big opportunity. I landed in a beautiful time because all of a sudden I found myself working on music shows with famous actors. I couldn't believe what was happening to me. It was kind of a dream. Yeah. But I just wanted to work. I wanted to learn. So, the challenge was not to quit because it was tough. It was very tough. Honestly, the first years were very difficult. I was making just enough money to survive, and I remember, I was in California. You have to drive a car, otherwise you're done. I mean, you cannot go anywhere. If anything will happen to the car and I have to fix it, I didn't make it to the end of the month. So that it was that bad. So it was a lot of crying and I was with, thanks God, I was with today's my wife. She was my fiancée. We went together. She decided to come with me. She was a fantastic support. I think a big part of Santina's success is thanks to her. She's my right hand, and he was very supportive in those difficult times too. Because, like I said, the challenge was not to quit. The challenge was to have a vision and say, this is it, there is a future here. We need to plant a seed. And that's what I wanted. I didn't want to live forever in US because the culture is very difficult to my culture. And I knew that this was temporary, but I wanted to plant a seed. So I had a lot of friends that went there and were saving money and to do something else. I couldn't save a penny, but I was investing every single dollar into my career there. But I knew that planting a seed in California, if it will grow, it will have a future, and that's exactly what happened. Uh, through working through the printer, I met a person. This is a funny story because this person had a cookie factory and he came to redesign the packaging of the cookies and he fell in love with the design and he said, oh my God, you're so talented. And I said, well, I'm leaving because I have a contract for 2 years with the printer. So it's been a year and a half now and I'm coming back to Argentina. He said, oh, no, you should stay. I mean, you are talented. I want to partner with you. And he said, how much money do you need to start your own business? I was 25. I was like, what? So, and I'm making this long story short, but it was amazing. He said, hey, you get with your wife. I will talk to mine. We'll get together and we'll make it happen. And that's what happened. Actually, my wife was so happy because we finally were going back to Argentina. And then I come back home and say, look what happened. I have an opportunity. And she was crying like, oh my God, are we going to continue with this madness? And yeah, we went for it. I first started a different company with this person. We worked together for a few years and then we split our ways because it was a big age gap between both of us. I was 25, he was 65. I had a complete different vision back then. I said, we can grow the agency and having people working for us remotely for a fraction of the cost that an employee will cost us here in California. I'm talking the year 2002, 2003. So back then, working remotely is not like discussing it today. Back then was really like people will challenge me, like, how are you going to make it happen? I mean, it's not possible. But I went for it, and I have to say that it was the right decision. Again, it was not easy. And I will say the biggest challenge was not to quit.
Amazing. So suppose that when you started Zentina, the first office was in Argentina?
No, when I started Centina, I was in California. I
Okay.
founded Centina in 2004.
Four.
So we're
Yeah.
turning 20 years in October this year. We're actually throwing a party here in Spain where I'm bringing my crew from Argentina, from Spain, from different places.
Am I invited?
Of course, of course. It's going to be amazing. It will include boats. That's all I can say. Um, but no, I was in Argentina right after we took different directions with this person that I was partnering with. I founded Centina on my own with my wife. Pretty much, we both are the owners of the agency, and the team and all the workforce was in Argentina back then because we were already working with my brother, who is in Argentina, and he runs the IT department. And our initial team was put together in Argentina. Right now, as you know, we have people in India, we have people in South Africa and Spain, that have become an amazing support for the growth of the agency. But back then we were just five, and four were in Argentina, and that was a designer, two programmers, and an illustrator.
Amazing.
So yeah,
So
yeah.
it's, I think it's really overwhelming to, listen to special stories of entrepreneurs coming from scratch and then building up a, on the
Oh
steps to
yeah, yeah.
become big. So it's really amazing. And there are a lot of this, when you are saying your stories, there are a lot of this insights or values that people can actually take in and implement them in their own life. So whether it's your focus, whether it's their determination, and having a positive mindset all the way, I think that
All
helps a
the
lot.
way.
So tell me, Dante, you started with the traditional designing, branding and stuff.
Yes. Mhm.
Which were some of the really good case studies or that come top of your mind that you have created, whether it's in US or whether it's in Spain or Argentina?
Yeah, well, US has been always my main focus, and like I said, I started my professional career in US. And yeah, back then, amazing things happened to me when I started working. When I landed in California, actually, when I was still working for the print shop, I got an opportunity to work with Vision Entertainment. It was a company in US, a big company that organizes events.
Mhm.
And through them, I was lucky to be part of the launch of Xbox 360, for instance. So, again, it was like a dream come true for me because I could not believe where I was, working at and collaborating with. And also, like sitting next to the famous actor Andy Garcia, watching a premiere movie for him to design his website. I was like, I couldn't watch the movie. I was like, watching at Andy, like, oh my God, what is happening? So that was the magic. I was in Los Angeles, Hollywood, so um, those type of opportunities were around the corner, and it was just a matter of networking and meeting the right people. And I was lucky because the owner of the printer that hired me, he was very well connected, and they liked me, and I was the Italian guy, but Dante, and they brought me to every single event. um, and that is the gateway to success, networking. I've been a networking all my life, I will say. And going to events and meeting the right people will take you in the right place. So that would be my advice for anyone starting. Go out there and talk to people, talk to strangers.
Absolutely.
Talking to strangers
So,
is the gateway.
in short, I would say you are the godfather of branding,
Yes, yes,
coming
yes.
from the Italian family.
Exactly. And now,
Um,
through different organizations, like, we both know BNI and the Global Power Team, we're taking networking to the next level. We're taking it
Absolutely.
internationally.
Yeah. So, Dante, we both are operating in the similar sphere of industry, the category of
Yeah.
industry that basically branding and designing, graphic designing. One thing after interacting with you is, which I noticed, and it's very special about you, is your openness to new things in life, welcoming them in and accepting them, and not just accepting, but implementing them in your life. May it be creating your avatars in the metaverse and creating those online meetings during the COVID times for the global power team. So, can you just tell me, how did the transition happen? What was your mindset when you were approaching these new technologies? Where a lot of the times, for creative people to get into something unknown when there is no guidance, it's a little, they are a little skeptical about it. But I think you very nicely transition. Can you just give a little brief on that?
Yeah, well, the metaverse was not new for me when Meta or Facebook announced that they were changing the name, and everybody ran, and the metaverse keyword became, something that everybody was talking about. I started with the metaverse in 2013,
Mm,
with Second Life. I was one of the very first platforms that offered this virtual world that you could interact with other people. So that was my first experience with the metaverse. But of course, a lot of things have changed since the development of Web3. Web3, the metaverse now has a completely different impact. But I have to say that I couldn't even think about it because with the pandemic, things changed so fast in just a matter of months that I didn't even have time to think if it was the right direction or not. I knew it was the right direction. Of course, still today we are in a very premature stage of the whole metaverse development.
mm,
But I'm a person that always said that I gotta be prepared when the challenge comes, when everybody's going to be asking for the metaverse. I want to be there years before them so I can explain how the process goes. And it is challenging for me, and it's a little bit sometimes frustrating because I have to be explaining every time to my clients why they should pay attention to all these new technology that is coming to us. There is no way that this is going to fade out or they're going to forget about it. No, guys, let me tell you, the metaverse are being developed. They're already there. Most of them are for gaming right now, but there is a whole new world of, technology coming in their direction. The problem right now is that we have AI going pretty much public, everybody using AI. So since last year, everybody's been talking AI, but the metaverse, continues to be in develop. It will represent an amazing opportunity. It will help us lower the carbon footprint that every company it's generating because we're not aware of that, and we need to somehow be responsible for what we do in our businesses and understand that we all are affecting our environment. Doesn't matter what you do. I can assure you that you are affecting the environment and leaving a carbon footprint. So, the metaverse offers this interaction that it's less aggressive to the environment, even though we use servers and we still use electricity and all that. That will be all improved because technology also is moving forward in that aspect. um, so again, this represents an opportunity, and the key word here is education. We need to educate ourselves about
yep.
the subject. I recommend everyone to read about, to listen to podcasts like this that will encourage you to learn more. Because that's the key word. We made a lot of mistakes in the past with mobile technology, for instance. The growth of this technology, it was so fast that it landed on our lap without knowing what to do. We were not educated, so we gave mobile phones to our kids 15, 20 years ago when they came out, and that was a big mistake. But we didn't know. We're not responsible. We just didn't know. They gave us that technology, and we didn't know what to do. All of a sudden, we had our TV or computer, everything on our hand, and we thought, oh, this is amazing, but it is not. Each device has a purpose. You don't walk out of your house with the TV under your arm. Why would you give the phone to a kid to watch a movie? He should watch a movie under your supervision at home in the TV.
Absolutely.
Same thing with games. I got friends that we have these discussions about, hey, I'm not buying a PlayStation because he becomes numb. He's all the time looking. I said, yeah. And then next minute, he's giving the cell phone to the kid to play a game. I'm like, you know, that doesn't
It's
make any sense. So
absolutely.
with the metaverse and the VR technology and the augmented reality, we we need to educate ourselves so we don't make the same mistakes. When I say that it's under development, the gear is under development. We don't have gear right now that we can wear for long hours without affecting our vision or our brain. So we need to be aware of that. I'm not gonna buy. I do have VR sets. I don't give it to my daughter. Say, hey, just play with them. No, if we do it, it's under my supervision. And I said, hey, we're using it for an hour, half an hour, it's enough, but not for 4 hours. There are kids that are with these things playing 4 hours. I mean, I don't know if you have the YouTubers that they have their head because of the headphones that they're wearing. Their head, it's messed up.
Absolutely.
It's the same. So that's because we have
And
not been educated about the
yeah, and
subject.
EMF is another issue along with that comes with that.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
yeah,
that's another issue at all. So amazing, Dante. I'm getting some interesting questions. So let me go to some of the participants. I'll shoot some questions to you.
yeah.
Aniket Rao is asking, how do you see the metaverse reshaping traditional brand identity concepts?
Yes, the branding now, in the future of branding is changing. As you know, I had a wonderful conversation with a good friend of mine, which I say hi to Deborah Sapsay from Argentina. She's very involved in the environment and the businesses that are now becoming more eco-friendly. And we were talking about this concept that brand will be about story doing and not more storytelling. We're not storytelling anymore. Remember a few years ago with social media, it was all about storytelling and
Storytelling, absolutely.
exactly. Well, right now, no, it's done. We're done with storytelling, which is story doing. So you need to set an example. You need to gain followers by setting an example and showing them a way. And the metaverse is that, is showing them a new path, showing them, a new way to do things. Um, the branding, the experience with a brand, now with AI could be something like very futuristic that you can walk into the metaverse and you can be assisted by an AI bot that will, take you to the store, show you the products, recommend, things, uh, all in a virtual world, with your brand right there. Uh, I think the future is not just the metaverse, it's a combination of augmented reality and the virtual world,
Mhm.
because they're going to bring the virtual world to our world. So
Absolutely.
we're going to be, transition into that scene. And brands has to be there in that aspect, like being responsible for what they're doing and setting an example, having a purpose.
Mhm.
I think will be the key word for brands.
So I think the gap between, with each technology, like we had earlier, the traditional, then came the OH, then your digital, the mobile, and then now the metaverse and the AI. I think the complete marketing and the branding, the brand is approaching the consumer more closely. The gap between the consumer and the brand is becoming less smaller. And I think with augmented reality, with virtual reality, the entire experience of the brand with the consumer, the relation, I think, will get more tightened, more closer.
Yeah, yeah. With big data, we got to a personal level because we know, now a lot about people. The metaverse will bring a unique experience for each individual, because you can tailor that experience to your privileges, to your desired settings, you know.
Yeah,
So in that aspect, it will be a more personalized than ever. Even with your avatars that you're gonna be dressing up. I one of my daughters is studying fashion, and I say you should design dress for avatars, like you should design avatars, fashion. And she's like,
absolutely.
Dad, you're crazy. I said, no, that's the future, designing avatars.
Absolutely. I've got another very interesting question. I think this is something which you have a hang about is how does branding in metaverse differ from traditional branding in terms of audience engagement and brand loyalty? This question is from Aisha.
Yeah, well, the traditional method have always been limited by budget, and the exposing your brand around the world is not something that every single company or brand can do. Right now, we do have the channels. but we have to spend, significant amount of money to really get exposure and get results. While on the metaverse, you have a unique, environment that can invite, millions of people to a single event. I always say, um, imagine, Mick Jagger giving a concert. He has a brand, he has a name. He gave a concert here in Madrid, and I think we were like 60,000 people in the stadium. He gives a show in the metaverse, and millions can attend. Millions, literally millions can attend. Um, so same promotion, probably even less, with a much higher impact on the results. So that's the beauty about the metaverse. It has no limit as for now, because of course we do have some technology limited, and that's part of the challenges that the metaverse is facing, like rendering, processor power, and things like that. Um, but the exposure and the odds of reaching a larger audience in the metaverse are much more bigger than with the traditional marketing. The efforts with the traditional marketing, again, are much higher. It's like AI, everybody's, oh, I'm afraid of AI. Well, AI is just a tool, and it's being given to us to simplify our work, you know. Well, the metaverse simplifies a little bit, in a way, the exposure, because for instance, the Centraland now it's one of the metaverse that I've been using for quite a while. The Centraland, now you go and you have brands like Nike, like Sony, building these amazing structures with their logo there, and you have literally millions of people walking every month in one single platform. So the deal that Sony may have with the Central ad, it's minimum compared to what they can do with TV, TV commercial, to reach out similar audience. So in that aspect, the metaverse is gonna, bring a lot of benefit to brands. It's gonna lower the carbon footprint, and it's gonna reach a bigger audience. So it's a win-win situation with the metaverse.
Amazing. So I think the reach is going to be really phenomenal with metaverse and with digital technology. And something you had mentioned to me when we were speaking a few weeks back was about brand loyalty. And there's something a lovely story that you mentioned to me about a brand loyalty transfer of from the NFT. Can you just give that example? Explain that.
Well, the NFTs were the missing link on this whole equation with blockchain. Because, like I said, the metaverse started a long time ago, but it was just that. It was the virtual world where you can join and pretty much interact on a chat and talk to other people that were walking around. With the development of Web3 and blockchain, we have incorporated the feature of being able to interact with the platform, with the environment, with this digital world. You now can buy things, and the NFT was the missing piece of the puzzle, because the NFT basically, what I like, a lot of people heard about NFTs like these funny drawings that a kid made and sold for
Doodles and
millions.
artworks and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not that. An NFT could be your mortgage contract. It could be anything. The technology and the concept behind the NFT is what is interesting. An NFT is basically a digital contract that grants you ownership over a piece of code. Okay, it could be your marriage photo scanned, and you can convert that into NFT. Of course, a lot of artists are being benefit because they are converting their art into an NFT. But the NFT again is going to change the whole concept, because we need to think about the future generations. We need to think about the kids that are now growing, playing games like Fortnite in these metaverses, right? They meet with their friends there, they talk and they connect and they see each other in a digital format. Um, and they now can buy an asset from the game, use it, and resell it. That never happened ever before in the history, and that is because of the NFTs. We have converted those little items. Like my daughters, when they were younger, they used to play Roblox. I don't know how much money I spent on that platform, but they're going to send me, they never send me a thank you letter, by the way. But, imagine that you have your kids playing these games, when they're young, when they're kids. And then, of course, they grew and they just forget about it. They change their interest and do something else. Wouldn't it be amazing to get some of that money that you spent back if you could sell those items that they bought? Okay, so that's what is basically on a nutshell happening right now with the NFTs. These contracts, they give us ownership over a piece of code, and it's the difference with the blockchain and with tokens is that these are unique pieces that you can own. And loan variety, I'm trying to connect both worlds, the brand and the artist through the NFT, because the loyalty you're going to become is like, oh, I like the art of Niket. I like, the paintings he does. He's now doing NFTs. But Niket worked with Hotel Change, where he displays his art and he has an agreement with the Hotel Change where the physical art is being held, it's being, showcased. But now, if you buy Niket's NFT of that art, whenever you go to that hotel, you get a discount. So you're giving utility. I'm trying to illustrate an example. You're giving utility to your NFT. So not only it has the value of Niket art, it's also benefiting you from getting a discount when you stay at that hotel. Okay, so all that it's coming because unfortunately the hotel is not using Web3 yet, but it will use a Web3 technology, and we will be able to connect our wallet and connect to the hotel, make a reservation. They will know that you hold that NFT, and that will give you access to a special price list. Basically, on a nutshell, and trying to explain it and
So
illustrate
you
it easy so people can understand what I'm talking about.
amazing, amazing. The way you explained the entire process made it sound very simple.
Yes, yes. This is practice because I was very technical at the beginning and everybody was looking at me like, okay, so what we should do with that. So,
Awesome. So the future is really interesting and technology driven. I have another question from Rashi who says, how can small businesses or startups leverage the metaverse for branding opportunities on a limited budget?
let me tell you, it's free. uh, it is free and it just takes your time. That's how I did it at the beginning. My agency, we do have actually you've been there, Niket, on my showroom in the metaverse.
Yeah.
We showcase instead of sending a client a PDF with a bunch of works that we have done, like everybody else does, I send them a link to the metaverse and I say, hey, hop in, I will be there. Instead of meeting on a boring Zoom meeting, we can jump on the metaverse, walk around the gallery. I can show you in real time the work that we do and explain, and the client can ask questions real time because you are there actually, and you can explain how the process of the design that generates a complete different impact on your client. Your client is going to go like, wow, I want to work with people that think about future, that think different from everybody else. And again, it's free. There are platforms now that offers you free access. These buildings are pre-built by them and they let you use them for free. You just need to spend your time on decorating it, putting the art on the wall, a virtual plant, and things like that.
Mhm.
And again, that will be a way to impress your audience and your prospect clients.
Amazing. So I think next time when we meet on Thinkly, we should meet in the metaverse, wherein it's
Of
not a
course.
Zoom call, but it's actually we both in the maybe on the platform or the pedestal, and then we have the audience actually sitting over there.
It's like watching a movie. Imagine right now, Niket, we could be walking around a room and we could be talking about real,
Absolutely.
study work that I have done that is hanging on the wall and I can explain. And it will be much interacting and entertaining
Interactive,
for people
absolutely.
because right now they're looking at both of our faces. I know we're pretty, both of us, but it will be much more attracting and interesting for
Yeah,
people.
the engagement level would be at a different.
Yes,
Uh,
yes, huge.
yeah, I have another question coming from Anand Sharma. He asks, how can brands ensure their identity remains consistent across both physical and digital realms?
How brands what?
Ensure their identity remains consistent across both physical and digital realms.
Being consistent with the branding, basically through both. Yeah, I mean, uh, again, brand right now it has to do with a purpose. So not only has to be consistent on the look and feel of your brand, because the digital environment will offer a range of possibilities, but also with the purpose. So whatever your brand is doing, it has to make sense in the physical and digital world. Okay, I will say that will be the most challenging part to make sense because you could be an amazing graphic design or marketing agency, but if in the metaverse you're playing games or doing a factory of whatever, there will be no connection between both. With the branding, it's the same recipe. Keep it simple, keep it consistent, and do not change it. Do not, if you have a logo and a tagline, do not create another one for a different platform. You have to be consistent and straightforward with your audience. Otherwise, you're going to confuse them if you have multiple
Absolutely.
identities.
Completely agree, Dante. In fact, I think the way when we design a particular brand identity, we create a complete brand guideline book,
The
right?
guideline.
Now that's pertaining to that was earlier pertaining to the print media, maybe the signages and the digital platform. Okay, but now I think we'll have to add one more section to it, which will be called the metaverse, and
Yeah, the
how
VR and AR,
yeah.
it's
So
going to be
how your
exactly.
brand is seen, how the brand interacts, what kind of a language, what kind of form and colors. So there, I think we need to define those values again for the AR and the VR.
Correct, correct. And that has to be also a little bit with 3D modeling because basically we're converting our brands into a 3D objects that are going to be hanging or floating in the metaverse.
Yeah.
So yeah, those parameters need
So
to be
there,
set in
I
the new
think
brand. Mhm.
absolutely. I think there again, how that avatar or how the 3D model is, what kind of clothes he's wearing, how is he being represented rightly in the brand values. I think that would matter. I think.
Yes, 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 definitely, definitely. And that is an update that we all designers will have to do in our brand guidelines in the near future.
Great. Getting some really good questions here, Dante. Siddhi say ask with the metaverse still evolving, how do you foresee brands adapting their strategies to stay relevant and innovative?
Yeah, well, that's guys, we do have an amazing opportunity in our hands. It is under development. That means that we have time to play with it, right? Because if we will already just wait 5 more years, probably six, a little bit more, until Meta announces that they're opening up their metaverse, everybody's gonna jump on it. What are you gonna do? Start learning, you know, what to do? No, you should be playing with it right now. The way I use the metaverse right now with my clients is purely as a marketing strategy. Like my agency, I do have a showroom in the metaverse. I use it for client meetings. I take them to the metaverse. I walk them around. I explain how we work, and I have to say I have a 90% success rate because people loved it every time. So brands can do the same. They can create a showroom. We actually created the very first showroom for a real estate company here in Spain. It was the very first one in Spain. We did it 3 years ago. And the idea was to show clients the history of the company, some of the properties that they have on sale, and impress them with what it's coming purely as a marketing tool. Because when you tell people, oh, come to the metaverse, we'll have the meeting there, just using the keyword metaverse attracts. So that's the way we're using it right now. It will completely change in the future. There are, like, again, there are, platforms like the Central and Roblox and others that are bringing a lot of, traffic, but we're not interacting, brands are not interacting heavily yet with the metaverse. But you can have your own space in the metaverse. You can actually own a piece of land in the metaverse and build something, and then privately invite people to visit your property, your shop, and impress them with, the fact that you are looking at the future and you're already working with the future of technology. So I think that's what we all should really prioritize. Not the fact that everybody still is not wearing VR goggles because they are expensive. We know that, but we can do it from a laptop. You can browse the metaverse from a phone. So that's not something that is going to stop you. It's not mainstream yet. Yes, it's not mainstream, but it will be. It will be one day, and we want to be prepared. So my advice is start playing with it. Go build something and then show it to your clients and say, I can do this for you. And they will like it because we're very competitive. We want to be ahead of the competition. So your clients want to be the first one. When I told the idea to this real estate agency, they didn't even think about it. They jump on it, say, yes, we want to do it. And they bought an NFT, they own a building. So all that we built was on a building that they own on the virtual world.
Amazing. So Dante, we have another question from Rajesh. He's asking, looking ahead, what trends do you predict will shape the future of branding in virtual and AR and VR environments?
Well, trends. AI, it is changing the game. And I think that, again, the keyword here is uh, having a purpose, having an objective and a purpose, and not telling stories but doing things. So I think that we should follow that same path. That will be the trend, gaining followers for the things that your brand is doing, is generating. Uh, it's not more about what I own, how big I am, or how many clients we have. Not even how good our product is.
Mhm.
It's about how good are we at, uh, helping generating a better environment, a better world for our kids in the future, because they are going to be the one buying in the future.
Absolutely.
So, we need to focus on what matters, and what matters in the future is our youth. And and if we do have a purpose that help the youth to be better human beings, to really interact on a more, safe, we will say, way with our environment, then we are on our path to something, and that will bring brand loyalty and everything else, because people will follow, people will like, the fact that you are concerned about these subjects.
Thanks. And I have another question from Shantanu. He is asking, what are the potential risks for brands entering the metaverse and how can they mitigate them?
Oh, the risk. I mean, there is always risk in what you do. The risk is to not pay attention, The risk is not to, again, educate yourself about the subject. There are no risk in entering. Of course, if you do something wrong and you try to put together an event and everything goes, in the wrong direction with the connection, or it's falling, hey, we can even fall and stand and walk again because we are on a test mode. This is the right time, guys. Don't be afraid of failing because you can fail. This is a new technology. I failed many times, and I still on it. I actually was really promoting it heavily 2 years ago, and now I'm a little bit more silent, waiting for the right moment because I knew, that it was more the time for me and the frustration of trying to explain you why you should be paying attention than anything else. And I fall, yes, I fall, and I felt like, oh my God, I'm wasting my time. But then I say, no, I'm not wasting my time at all. So don't be afraid of failure. Don't be afraid of falling on a trap because this is the right time to do it. This is the right time to fall in the trap and then step out of it and continue. This is all a learning process, a learning curve that is going to take you to success. Again, don't wait 5 years when everybody will be talking again about this technology. Do it now, fail now, and tomorrow you're going to be savior, you're going to be smarter, and you're going to be with better answers in your hand.
Yeah, I think you'll be way ahead of the other wagons
Oh,
in
way,
the.
way, way ahead. Yeah, yeah. But hey, you know what? I like to be at least 10 years ahead of the game. You know, that will give me enough time to fail and be
Amazing.
prepared and then do things right.
Great. Dante, to sum up this particular conversation, I think the future is really exciting. It's something very new. I think from the brand's perspective, from the brand owner's perspective, I think they also need to be educated and about the possibilities of metaverse and how that
Yeah.
can be beautifully integrated for the advantage of connecting with the consumer, the brand and the consumer relation. And from the design agency perspective, I think it's about being staying ahead of the curve. Right now, I think like you mentioned, that this is the learning curve, and
Yeah.
one should actually participate wholly. If you can later on also share with me some links that can be, I can share with the viewers on the
I will
platform.
share the showroom link so you can all go and visit it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
Absolutely.
and another thing important, Niket, here is that this is legacy. This is legacy. Okay. And as far as the servers are up and running, your content will be there available for people to walk around and visit and interact with your brand. So
Mhm.
think about that. It has become an important asset for brands. You know, the Mick Jagger example that I gave you. Imagine that with through AI now and the technology that we're utilizing, we're able to take from each person the most important thing, the know-how. Because you can be rich, but we're all unfortunately going to die one day. And your car, your mansion, and your plane is going to stay. And your kids or someone is going to spend that money for you. Okay. But you take with you the know how, right? All that, uh, you know, uh, special sauce that made you special, like Mick Jagger, his talent, his voice. Imagine that we can transfer all that into a virtual entity that
Mm.
can continue in the metaverse offering concerts forever. That
You
is an
become
amazing asset for his family, for his legacy.
so you become
Because
immortalize
yeah,
the brand.
immortal. Yes, yes. I am working on a project that has to do with the next step, which is artificial emotional intelligence.
Wow.
Because right now we have artificial intelligence, which is a bunch of, ones and zeros that they have a lot of information and the process is, it is amazing what is happening. But the emotional part, it's unique on human beings. So transferring those emotions also as an addition to the AI will bring this unique concept of artificial emotional intelligence, where if you are a doctor or you are a lawyer, you can have your virtual you living in the metaverse and continue assisting people forever in the metaverse. You know,
Amazing. So I
it's
think
great. I know it's
that's
crazy, but I don't want to scare people too much.
I
But
think that
yes,
will call for another Dante 2.0 episode, second episode with him,
yes,
where we can dive in more deep into the subject. And
Yes, yes.
I think let's come, we'll end this particular episode. Thank you, Dante, for being here
Oh,
and
thank you.
sharing such amazing insights and your knowledge of what you've gained. I think universally and country-wise, how the AR and the VR has been exposed to is quite different in terms of the levels. And I think
Yeah.
people like you who are actually taking that step and moving ahead, it's really amazing. So thank you so much, Dante. Apart from being your health condition, coming over and having this
Oh,
beautiful chat,
we made it.
and
We made it. I was able to finish
so
all
I
my
was looking
sentences.
forward. Yeah, yeah. And I hope
By the
our
way, this is not my voice, okay? I will have a different voice next time.
next time, I hope it will be the realistic, not a AR or the VR.
Well, you never know. Maybe, yeah, we can do it with avatars. It will be fun. I could be anything, you know.
Amazing. So
But
thank you
today
so
you're
much.
seeing the real Dante.
Okay, that's it. Thank you so much for being here, and thank you
No,
for
thank
your
you, Niket.
time. And I hope the viewers also had a amazing, enlightening session in what Dante has shared with us. So
Yeah.
thank you so much, Dante.
No,
Take
thank
care.
you, Niket. It's been amazing. Thank you.
Yeah,
See you
thank you
next
so
time.
much. Take care. Bye.